Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how to use WebAssign and the graphing tool because I've been getting a couple questions on just like how to use this properly, where to click and everything. So I think it's just best if I just show you a couple examples. So here's the first one. We're going to graph y equals x plus 2. So this is in slope intercept form with y-intercept of 0, 2 and then a slope of positive 1 over 1. So the easiest way to graph this is first, you can plot a point. So this is the point tool. And we're going to plot the point 0, 2. And we're going to put it like right here. Okay. Now, it's kind of faint on your screen, so hopefully you can see it. But on the right-hand side, where it says graph layers, if you come directly underneath where it says point 1, if you click on that, you can actually verify, okay, point 1 is 0, 2. So if you ever make a mistake, okay, you can always fix it in this little window here. So let me show you how to do that. So once again, we're going to plot the point 0, 2, which is our y-intercept. But let's say I accidentally clicked all the way over here, which is definitely not our point, okay? So I just come in here and I'll just highlight the x value 0, highlight the y value 2, and I automatically fix my point appropriately. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to plot another point, but we're going to use our slope to determine that point. So notice we still have the point tool highlighted. So starting at the y-intercept, I'm going to move in the I'm going to move in the y direction 1 unit up and the x direction 1 unit to the right. So up 1, right 1, put a dot. And then you have 3 options here for lines. You have, this is the line tool, the double-headed arrow. You have a ray, which we will never use in this class. And then you have the line segment tool, and you use this if you have a restricted domain. So if you just want a line, just click on here, and then you're going to click your 2 points. And there's your line right there. Also, you can notice on the right-hand side, underneath graph layers, you have the word line 1. If you just expand that by clicking on it, you can see that the points used to form this line are 0, 2 and 1, 3. If you wanted to, you can change this to a dash line, but we're not going to do that because we want a solid line here. So we want the solid line, so leave it the same. Now, the same thing applies for any type of situation where you're graphing. So I'm just going to scroll down and see if I can find another homework problem here. All right, so let's see here. As you can see, I already answered some of them for us. Nah, nothing really too good. Yeah, nothing. I really don't like any of these examples here. But I do want to do one example here. So let's say, for example, I wanted to graph, and I'm going to have to erase this real fast. You're not going to see what I'm doing. I'm doing it off camera. Let's say I wanted to graph x equals 2. Okay? So by hand, we would just go ahead, draw our XY grid. Then we would just label a couple values on each of the axes respectively. But more importantly, x equals 2 is a vertical line at x equals 2. So you would just draw a vertical line at x equals 2 and call it a day. However, how do you do this using WebAssign? Well, it's exactly the same way. You would grab your point, put it at x equals 2, but then you have to realize that no matter what your y value is, your x value will always be 2. So you could put a point all the way up here. You could put a point all the way down here. You could have put one right here. You could have put one right here. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that all those points lie on the vertical line x equals 2. So we're going to go ahead and just click any 2 points that we want. And there's our vertical line right there. Okay? Lastly, let's say we wanted to plot something with a restricted domain. Now, this may not apply for everybody. Okay? This isn't going to apply for everybody, but I'm going to show us how to do this. Okay? So let's go back to our notes real fast. And let's look at this example. So we want to graph y equals 3 over 4x plus 1 for the restricted domain when x is greater than or equal. I'm sorry, when, let's see, I think 5 will be a good one. So we have a restricted domain of 1 to 5, okay? So we're not going to be using a line tool. We're going to be using the very specific segment tool. So let's go ahead, let's see how we do that. So remember, y equals 3 over 4x plus 1. So we're going to put 0, 1 our y-intercept, and then we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. Or, I'm sorry, the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so here are my 2 points. Now, if I wanted to, I can do the line here, okay? But remember, we have a restricted domain, and I only want x values that are in between 1 and 5 respectively, okay? So at least what we have here is we have a really good idea of what our line should look like, okay? But in order for us to fully understand where the 2 points are, what we're going to have to do is figure them out. In other words, we're going to have to come back into our notes and say, okay, well, that's my lowest x value. Here's my largest x value. So y equals 3 over 4 times 1 plus 1. So this would be y equals 3 over 4 plus 4 over 4, or y equals 7 over 4. So the first point on my line segment will be 1, 7 over 4. Okay? Now I'm just going to go ahead and erase, because I'm going to do the same thing again, except we're going to go with 5. So now this is going to be 3 times 5 is 15 over 4. And then 15 plus 4 is going to be 19 over 4. So my endpoint on the other side is going to be 5, 19 over 4. Please do not use decimals when you're graphing. Don't even use decimals when you're answering questions. Always use fractions, because fractions are exact answers. All right? There was a question on our quiz or test, and the answer turned out to be like 4 over 3, okay? And I saw a lot of people just writing 1.3. This is incorrect. That is an approximation. 4 over 3 is the exact answer, okay? So let's go ahead, let's plot these 2 points, and let's see how we do this. So like I said, we got this line here. It gives us a really good idea of what our answer should look like. But now let's go ahead and let's do this properly. So we're going to clear everything. We're going to put 2 points. Now, our points contain fractions. So I'm just going to plot 2 points. I'm just going to plot 2 of them. And then I'm going to come into my point editor, and I'm going to type them in properly. 1, 7 over 5 for point 1. And then point 2 is going to be 5, 19 over 4. Now I have my points proper. I will come up here and select the line segment tool, and I will click on those. Oh, I guess I didn't click properly, but that's okay. So notice how the line segment isn't perfect. So what I'm going to do is come up into here, and I'm going to fix it. 1, 7 over 5, and then 5, 19 over 4. And right there is my proper line segment for this line with a restricted domain. So I hope this answered some questions. If you have any more, feel free to just email me and let me know. Talk to you soon. Bye.